and have roll call. We only have 28, don't we? Okay, it's 28 present and no one absent, and you know, we have one seat that's not yet filled, but we're getting close. Okay, invocation will be led by our own Dana Heller.
Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us and the residents of Barron County. We ask you to continue to put a hedge of protection around all of our past and current elected officials. We ask to give us strength and vision over today's proceedings, that the decisions made are fair and righteous. We thank you, Lord, and praise you through your one and only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. And altogether, all God's people said, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I see I forgot public notification, Jeff?
Public meeting notification. Wendy Coleman, my executive assistant, has complied with Wisconsin open meeting requirements. Meeting agendas have been posted on electronic meeting notice boards located on the first and second floor of the Government Center and the first floor of the Justice Center. Hard copy of the meeting agenda has been posted in the county clerk's office, and she's verified the proper posting of this meeting. This is the Barron County Board of Supervisors scheduled for July 22nd, and this agenda was posted on July 16th at 9:24 a.m.
Okay, special matters and announcements. I believe Jeff has one.
The only special matter that I have was the proclamation for the town of Sumner. I wasn't going to read it unless you wanted me to.
No, I think everybody received it. So.
Okay, so I just have that and have the county board chair direct the clerk to incorporate this into the minutes of the meeting today.
Any questions on that? Okay. Not number 5, approve the agenda. Motion by Supervisor Langman, seconded by Supervisor Hanson. Lance is on it.
Louis,
Yeah.
we have somebody from the town of Sumner who would talk about the ongoing events at the sesquicentennial celebration. If you
Okay.
got a second,
Could we have that a public comment or?
it's up to you. You're
Yeah,
the
let's
chair.
have them talking about public comments so we can get that in there.
Thank you.
Supervisor Langman and seconded by Supervisor Hanson.
Yes, I was lucky.
Now we have a motion by Supervisor Heller and seconded by Supervisor Olson, so I guess the other two dropped out, so. Okay, is there any concerns with the agenda? If not, let's vote.
You get to vote twice, just like the presidential.
I'm not allowed to vote yet either. It's all part of that snafu they had on Friday and Saturday, I think. Here we go, we get to vote.
Look at the clock, even the clock's backwards. They're timing you.
Punky, we're waiting on you. Okay, that passed by 28 yes and 0 no. Item number 6, approve the minutes of the June 17th, 2024 minutes. Any concerns? Not, a motion by Supervisor Guslick, second by Supervisor Cook. Seeing no questions, let's vote. Again, 28 yes, 0 no. Okay, on to the public comment. Fran, why don't you have your person tell us about the sesquicentennial?
Joy, you want to come up? Come up to the podium.
Fran put you on the spot.
Did.
Too late.
Julie, could you tell us your name and address?
My name is Joy.
Joy,
Barch.
okay.
Yeah, we'll go with Joy. There's other names. But my address is 1404 24½ Street, Cameron. I live out on County M, not far from the Canton Park, which is where our 150th is going to be celebrated on August 8, 9, 10, and extended August 11th to an outside church service on Sunday morning. So come for coffee after church and it'll be a good experience. On Thursday night, we are doing what was called to us the free show, now called an outdoor movie. But we want to go back to 75, 80, 90 years ago when Canton every week would have a free show. Everybody came to Canton, so you could go to Sullivan's store and buy ice cream and popcorn. And it was a great time for everybody to gather. Friday night, we're doing a DJ and starting our wooden bat tournament and having other activities going on for individuals. On Saturday, which turned out to be our biggest day, in the town hall, we'll have a historical presentation and items to look at, and hopefully we have put together a little book on Lehigh, because the village of Lehigh is not very well known. It was started about the same time as Canton in 1884 and has never had a lot of history put together, so we formed the Lehigh Literary Society, and they have collected a lot of information that we like to let people read and see. We will also have there something undoubtedly on the village of Canton, which has had a lot of things done, the village of Sumner. And then, if we're really lucky, we'll have something on each of the 5 schools, the Greenwood, Halverson, Sumner, Canton, and I'm missing one. I have to think on that. And then during the day, we'll have the wooden bat tournament, we have a cornhole tournament, we have silent auctions, we have all kinds of fundraising things. We're doing something for Patty Bortz, who is neighbors our property, and we rent from her to have a parking lot. And Patty had a brain aneurysm in February, so we are doing a fundraiser for her at the same time. And we have a band coming at 1 and playing till 5. We have a band coming at 7 and playing till 11. And we have some other young gentlemen who said, you know what, we'd just like to come and play, so they might play in the morning. Yeah, activity, food, and a free chicken dinner if you do a free will offering. But we have a chicken dinner, which is our party issue to invite the community in and have a free lunch. And I think that's what we're doing.
Perfect timing, Joy. Thank you.
So, thank you. All right.
Okay, we also have Jeannie Reitberg like to speak. Would you just state your name and address, please?
Sure, Janine Rydberg, and I live at 663 27th Avenue, Cumberland. I am between Cumberland and Baronet, kind of on the north edge of Barron County. I'm also a supervisor in the town of Lakeland and District 3 Director for the Wisconsin Towns Association. And that's the reason I'm here today, is because every month I'm visiting 11 counties in northern Wisconsin, and we're finding it more and more difficult to deal with federal dollars or trying to get those federal dollars through grants. We know there's only so much that can come through the state and the county. Even things that pass through are often inhibited by federal requirements. So what we're finding is that to, pay for our bridges, possible machinery, culverts, all the things that you've heard coming up in the last couple of years, we really lack resources for grant writers, specialists, and other people to help us understand all the federal requirements and all the things involved in grant making. One big step that you could help us make is if you would consider, and I have given to your county administrator a copy of a resolution passed in Price County, and I have a blank copy of that as well here today. What we're trying to do is get all the counties in Wisconsin to back the idea of changing the federal definition of rural. Right now, for federal grants, the definition of a rural population is 200,000 people or less. That leaves out Madison and Milwaukee in this state. There's no way the town of Lakeland, Rice Lake, or any other place, any other smaller community can even compete with Duluth, Wausau, Eau Claire, all those other communities. We would like to see this reduced to 20,000. We'd really like it to go to 5,000, but we'll get there eventually. So we're asking under two different bills here, and I've got the information, HR 2003 and HR 5437. They are currently in the House of Representatives. We're hoping that you will consider a resolution that would ask our federal representatives to consider to change this definition, and also the minimum requirement for projects currently funded under a lot of these federal grants. The minimum is $25 million. We could all come together, all the towns, and still not come up with a project that would equal that. So in essence, there's nothing for us under these rural programs. So I hope you'll consider the resolution. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to come back at any other time. Shared information with Mr. French, and just hope you'll consider it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We'd already met our leadership committee and planned to put this on the agenda in August. And right now, I don't see why we would not support something like this. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, excuse me, item number 8. Our Mayor Harlan Dodge from Rice Lake, the city of Rice Lake, would like to address us and have an open forum. Welcome, Mayor.
Good morning, County Board and Supervisors. Harlan Dodge. I live at 108 Noble Avenue in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and it is a pleasure to be here this morning. I am here to fulfill my obligation to the residents of City of Rice Lake to have an open line of communication with Barron County. As you know, our current administrator has retired. We are now searching for a new city administrator. We have 10 applicants. PNC is going to start the process shortly, and I want to let you know that our new city administrator, along with me, will have an open line of communication with Barron County, with Mr. French, Mr. Oakey, anybody else as a supervisor. Don't be afraid to call. I ran on this premise. I'm going to keep the premise to have an open line of communication. We have other things that are going on with the city of Rice Lake. We have a city clerk that is going to retire. We have, I believe, we want to hire a city planner. So there's a lot of things on our plate as we speak, but communication is where I stop, and that's where it's going to stay, is here. So don't be afraid to call us. And if you have any questions, I am here to answer if I can.
I can tell you from personal experience, the mayor and I are both, well, the mayor is on the Barron County Economic Development Corp board. I usually attend all the meetings. He's been nothing but, Mayor has been nothing but helpful in helping further the city of Rice Lake as well as Barron County's fortunes and working together. And I find it very refreshing. And so thank you a lot, Mayor, for that. Does anybody have any questions? Supervisor Heller.
I'd like to say that in the short time that I've had opportunity to deal with.
You have your mic on, Dana?
I do. I'll speak into it. In the short time I've had an opportunity to deal with Mayor Dodge, it has been evident that some of the things have changed from what we've seen prior. He holds regular business hours and is approachable. And the things that we've seen him do currently have been leaps and bounds above what we've seen in the past. So as a Rice Lake resident, we greatly appreciate it and look forward to continued movement in the things that are happening in Rice Lake. Now, in general, you're in your office specifically in the mornings, primarily Monday through Friday, unless you're in meetings.
Monday through Thursday, 8 in the morning till noon.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Supervisor Banks.
What's the status of that logging museum that has been discussed in Rice Lake for a number of years? Is there any progress or anything happening on that?
The only logging museum that I know is the one that's already constructed down by the boat landing, and it's on county property. Am I correct on that one?
Yes.
And that was with Stan Bergam and another, yes, group of people that put that together, and it looks really nice. There's a log cabin there. There's a walking trail. Is there another one? Yeah, see, that I did know about, but it's nice to have somebody here that does.
Yeah, they've labeled all the trees and they have a walking path. I know it's nice, so.
Yes. Yeah, there's an osprey nest and everything right there. They have two floating docks for people to fish off.
Yep. Supervisor Cook.
Harlan, congratulations on being the mayor.
Thank you.
Harlan and I go back a ways. As you look forward, what is the big ask that you see coming from the county and where we can partner with the city of Rice Lake?
I think if you look forward, one of the bigger things is going to be City of Rice Lake is not going to get smaller. It's only going to get bigger. And it's just going to be the communication between probably your highway department on how roads are going to be taken care of, how we are going to take care of roads, and who's going to do it. Electricity is a big one. You got Barron Electric, which they have their area, we have ours, so we understand that part. But, and the other one's going to be housing. Housing's going to be stretching out, could be going into the townships or, out into the county. Roads is going to be number one, I think.
Supervisor Patty Anderson.
I just want you all to know that he steps out of his box in Rice Lake every once in a while and supports senior dining at Lana's, and everybody is always nice and talks to him and has fun. So thank you for supporting Council on Aging.
Nice seeing you down there.
Supervisor Fowler.
I'm going to reiterate what was said, and I was just going to ask the same thing that Randy did too. What you see is cooperation, but I've found the mayor to be very open, and I'm just really appreciative that you're here this morning.
Yes, very transparent. You have to be open to the public. You're doing a service for everybody, and it's county and city. So being the largest municipality, it is work together with everybody. It
And as you know,
only makes sense.
our lines of communication in the county are open as well. You call me anytime, home, try not to do it after midnight, but.
Sure. I talked to Jeff here a couple months back, and he almost had a heart attack. So. It's a pleasure being here, and it's nice, seeing people here and the jobs they do. A lot of familiar faces here, so thank you for having me.
Thanks again for coming.
Yes.
Okay, item number 8, approve the extension of the CDBG grant for the Salvation Army on County Road TT project. Jeff's done a good job disseminating information on that. Just as a general overview, Barron County has no funds in this. The reason our name is at all is because they have to go through the Barron County to get this grants and stuff to do what they're doing out there. It was an old nursing home on TT. It started pre-COVID, and because of supply issues, I believe there's a lot of literature out there that tells you, either it's from Cedar Corp or from Salvation Army or Jeff, that tells you all the pitfalls that have happened. So primarily it's been Jeff and I and Representative Armstrong and Cedar Corp and the Salvation Army discussing this and seeing how we can get that project finished as it was originally planned, because it's taken a lot more money. And again, Dave Armstrong has been instrumental in this. He's worked with the Department of Administration in the state. He's made sure that they're on board with this, that we're getting additional funds so that everything that was originally planned can be accomplished. Again, they've never, and Ken Tregalis, who was well, kind of the head guy in our project has moved up the ladder. He's even higher in the Salvation Army now, and he's had the Salvation Army Board approve a lot of these things. Dave, is there anything you want to add to that?
Thank you. It's a good project. It's a needed project. It's a transitional housing is basically what it is. Individuals get out of treatment. Individuals come out of Benjamin House. They need some place to go to. From the treatment perspective, I can relate because I went to a place like this 37 years ago. It's a place for you to go when you're homeless per se. I've got a very basic way of making you not homeless, and that's get you a career. All right. There's some things in the way. I can get you the job today probably with an employer here, but there's some things in the way. Maybe chemical dependency, you know, you've got to unlearn some things you learned. That's what transitional housing's for. Salvation Army's been a great partner in this. They've got people that work with individuals that go in there. It's typically a 6-month, 9-month stay till you get stable, and then you're out on your own. This was a COVID grant. It was CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, specifically for COVID. We got the funds. Barron County was simply the pass-through agency for it because CDBG monies have to go to a municipality or government entity and then get put into the hands of a nonprofit, in this case, Salvation Army. The project was a mess early on from the standpoint of there's 2 buildings, small and a large. Small building's ready to go, large building, asbestos, wood rot, et cetera. So what we've done is retooled this and got the money in place through Salvation Army fundraising, a little bit of additional from DOA, where we're going to knock down the building that's there, the larger one, and just build new. So that's pretty much the extent of it.
Dave, can you give me the backstory? How did we get involved in this? It came available?
Correct.
Give me a little bit of backstory.
Correct. It was bank-owned property. Somebody had bought it. It was bank-owned by a bank in Clayton. They had called me asking if I knew of anybody that would be interested in it right when the CDBG monies came about. I was working with Salvation Army on a different property, actually here in Barron, that would work, but barely, when this thing came up. And so we switched gears from the property here to that one. DOA blessed the project, and that's kind of how it started. DOA is Department of Administration, so.
Okay. Again, Dave is doing a great job. Don't forget there's a Republican primary on August 13th.
Uh-oh, I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. All right, there's a motion by Supervisor Thompson, seconded by Supervisor Hanson, to approve the extension of that Salvation Army project to, was it December 31 of 2025? Are there any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. $28 yes, 0 against, so thank you. That extension is approved. Item number 10, there'll be 4 separate zoning ordinance amendments. First one is 10A, rezoning the town of Chautauqua, Paul V. Mum Trust. Motion by Supervisor Gooselake, seconded by Supervisor Bob Anderson. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, let's vote. $28 yes, 0 no, so that rezoning is approved. 10B, the rezoning, Town of Dallas, Bradley S. and Pamela M. Ohms. Motion by Supervisor Mosentine, seconded by Supervisor Gooselake. Any concerns? Seeing none, let's vote. That rezoning passed 28-0 again. Thank you. Item 10C, the rezoning, Town of Prairie Lake, Rocky and Patricia Flatland. Motion by Supervisor Gooselake, seconded by Supervisor Langman. Is there any questions or concerns on that zoning? Seeing none, let's vote. 28 yes, 0 no. So that rezoning is approved. Last one, 10D, rezoning Town of Turtle Lake, Dustin Dahlblom. Motion by Supervisor Cook, second by Supervisor Rogers. Any questions? Seeing none, let's vote. And that passed 28-0. Thank you, everybody. Item number 11, resolution, a formal endorsement to Mosaic Technologies to assist in obtaining the Wisconsin Public Service Commission Broadband Equity Access and Development, short or acronym is BEAD, program. As you remember, the exec took that up and had an endorsement of a letter of support initially, and then we just discussed it here at the last full board meeting, and then I believe it was July 1st, or anyway, the exec meeting in July, the exec took it up again, and as noted in the resolution, they voted 9-0 that we do change our mind and give a formal endorsement to Mosaic. We were unaware at the time that we went with a letter of support how important that formal endorsement is with the BEAD grant. In fact, I think Jeff, did you send it out to maybe exec? Did all the board members get anyway, you get the WCA magazine. Okay, there was an article in there that they spoke about how important it is that you give a formal endorsement, and when you look at what Mosaic's done for this county, they certainly deserve it. Now, that doesn't mean other people, internet providers, can't come to us, but they certainly deserve it the way they've acted with us. So it's motion by Supervisor Heller, seconded by Supervisor Hanson to approve that resolution. Question by Supervisor Vaughn.
So last month, I think we said that the county didn't want to endorse a private company. So I'm wondering what has changed, because it seems to be what's happening here.
Because we did it because it's important that they need a formal endorsement. The state is requiring that to obtain, I believe it's like 12 points. And there's a lot of competition with other counties surrounding us who have even put in some of their own county money, and some competition with other internet providers as well as other counties. So we deemed it appropriate at the executive committee meeting to endorse them, even though what you said before is it's a company, we're doing a private endorsement. I don't know if John wants to speak to that.
Yeah, I think that the concern the last time around was the word endorsement. I think that people were reading into that we were partnering with them, that we were forming a closer alliance. And when you look up what the word endorsement means, it means to lend your support to. So really it's just semantics. But when you look at the Public Service Commission requirement for this grant, it requires the word formal endorsement. I mean, so the state government, the state commission is requiring that language to be used in order to get the higher level of points. So without it, I think they're eligible for 5 points. If they have a formal endorsement, they could potentially get 12 points. So I think that the concern over the use of the word endorsement was what drove it the last time. I don't think that concern is as big of a issue as it was made out to be.
Because I asked John about that, and he did a deep dive on it, and sent me a memo indicating that what he just said. So, is there any other questions or concerns? If not, let's vote. Passed, 27 yes and 1 no. Thank you.
And the no vote was Vaughn.
Okay, Supervisor Vaughn, okay. Now that passed by, we just needed a majority, and we just needed a majority for item number 12 as well, but after that, the stakes change. Anyway, item number 12, resolution authorizing Barron County to enter in a settlement agreement with the Kroger Company and agree to the terms of the addendum 2 to the memorandum of understanding allocating settlement proceeds. I think Jeff had a lot of information in our packet. I know Andy Phillips has discussed this at the WCA board level. It's, it's pretty much set, and, if we want the funds, I would hope we approve this resolution. Motion by Supervisor Bob Anderson, second by Supervisor Cook. Is there any concerns or questions about that? Seeing none, let's vote. That passed 28 yes and 0 no, so thank you. Item number 13. This will need a 2/3 vote, 20 supervisors to pass. Resolution authorizing Barron County Waste to Energy to purchase a Comtech industrial shredder and a Caterpillar material handler. Motion by Supervisor Hanson, second by Supervisor Patty Anderson. I believe Brent would like to talk to us.
That's completely up to you, I guess.
No, it's a big purchase.
It is a big purchase.
And you've done a lot of homework. You might as well disseminate the information.
It is a big purchase. This request to secure this funding from the State Trust Fund loan and to authorize us to purchase this equipment was approved by the Executive Committee and the Solid Waste Board Committee. This is the same, I guess, information that I gave to both committees. The two items of equipment that we're looking to purchase are shown on the screen here. The shredder is, if you're looking at this side, is on your left. If you're looking at that, it's going to be on your left on both sides, I guess. would be on your left, and the material handler's on the right. And what happened was, for 22 years that I've been with Waste to Energy, we've always wanted a shredder. There's certain items that come to the facility, like a couch or a mattress or tires or just large bulky items, that it'd be so nice to be able to shred them, to remove the metal from that material and then incinerate a shredded fuel, a shredded product. It just never really was feasible as far as, to financially be able to afford something like that. It's $1 million piece of equipment. But since then, now we have a waste stream that we've discovered that can pay for this shredder, and we cannot get the waste stream we cannot process it at the waste energy facility unless we shred it. But the waste stream, if you'll move forward for me one, Jody. So the waste stream are these rolls. It's about 3,800 tons a year of this waste that we would be able to divert, that's currently going into a landfill, that we'd be able to divert from the landfill and recover the energy out of it, obviously. There's some other numbers up there. It's $90 per ton is what we would get it into. That's a contractual amount. We have a contract in hand that has not been fully executed yet by my side, but it has been by everybody else has signed it and ready to go with it. It's a 5-year contract with a 3-year renewal period. So we'll have this additional revenue of about $342,000 to pay for this shredder and this material handler. Next slide, please, Jody. And so the first thing we did is we found where they have one of these shredders. It's down in Truman, Minnesota, at a waste handling facility down there. We loaded up a few of these rolls, about 8,000 pounds, roughly 6,000 to 8,000 pounds of these rolls on our truck, took them down to Truman, Minnesota, and put them in the shredder to see if it would do it. And it does do it. There's a short video here that we're going to be able to play. And so this is one of these rolls getting shredded. And the roll is paper. And so it's an excellent fuel source for us. Paper has very little ash to it. It burns very well. It's got a lot of BTU value to it. And so in the fashion that it's shredding it, I actually pick up some pieces of this, and it just would be an amazing fuel source for us. And so it took about 30 minutes to process about 6,000 pounds of these paper rolls. And the product would be an amazing fuel source for us. So next slide, please, Jody. So along with that, now we found a waste stream that could pay for the equipment, but we'd also be able to use it for all the other things that are kind of been a thorn in our side for the last 30 years. And one of them is tires. The other one's mattresses. We can go on again. And then the construction and demolition, and then other things like sandpaper rolls. And like I said earlier, couches, love seats, recliners, that type of stuff. Currently, right now, our construction demolition is substantial. We've taken a lot of construction demolition waste. It's difficult for us to process. So we have a 320 excavator sitting there on the construction and demolition pile, and we're constantly hauling that out. And what we'd like to be able to do is shred that and save that waste and actually be able to incinerate it. So next slide, please, Jody. And then this is a picture of a material handler these are actually designed to work in the waste industry, whether it be for sorting or for trash loading. Next slide, please. So right now we're renting this excavator for $10,000 a month. We rent it for 4 or 5 months normally in the summertime to help us handle our construction demolition debris. And I can't quite see the number, but I believe the average total of construction demolition bypass is that, say, $97,000 a year annually. So that's another expense that we could save by processing all the waste at the incinerator instead of sending it to the landfill. Next slide, please. And then waste tires is another thing that we like to save as many as we can to burn them in the wintertime. They're an excellent fuel source, but we really can't burn them in the summertime. And so what we're forced to do is to send them to a tire recycler. To recycle the tires right now is $350 a ton. So we are hoping that we're confident what we'd be able to do is shred these tires and store them in a much more condensed pile and then save them for incineration during the wintertime, which would save us, I only have 2 years worth of data there, but I believe it's right around $100,000 as well. I can't quite see that number. So that's an additional savings for our expense. So we're already talking about saving a couple $100,000, and then we're actually looking at adding about $350,000 in revenue. So, and again, I have a hard time seeing this, but what the numbers shake out as, if my memory serves, I believe it's about $520,000 a year in additional revenue. And then you take away an estimated $20,000 in fuel, an estimated, I think it's $30,800 in repair and maintenance, and then the payment of about $200,000 a year. And then also take away the depreciation expense, which I think says 80, I think it's 80-some thousand a year. 89. Is it 89? Thanks. And bottom line is what it leaves us with is over $100,000 of additional revenue that the waste energy plant can use. So we're planning on taking out a 10-year loan we're asking for approval to take out a 10-year loan at 6%. We're intending to have the loan paid back in 6 years though.
Question by Supervisor Cook. Bill, I got Supervisor Cook first, Bill. Supervisor Cook's, okay.
That's a big piece of equipment. I have a combine. I know what it costs to maintain a combine. What does it cost to maintain that beast?
We're estimating $30,000 a year right now based on the numbers that we got from the manufacturer. And it's a little conservative, it's a little high. The major wearing items on the piece of equipment on the shredder are what's called the teeth and then the comb. And they're just basically the two parts that are seeing the waste and shredding the waste. So what we intend on doing is purchasing the shredder and then purchasing a set of teeth and a set of comb teeth for it right away. So we have them in stock. We spent quite a bit of time in Truman, Minnesota with the maintenance staff and with the management staff there, and they actually showed us how they're rebuilding their own. It's a simple jig that you make, and it's just simple hard surfacing welding that we plan on doing ourselves in-house. So, but we're budgeting about $30,000, like I said, which I think is high. But
Supervisor Schadl.
Yes. Brent, would you explain because obviously there's only 5 of us on the board that's on that solid waste committee, how with the acid gas system and of course the new stack and our new permitting to burn, well, like you said, we probably can only burn 20 to 30 ton, but why don't you go through quickly that whole process?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I know I was up here just about 2 years ago now to ask for $4 million. That project's currently in process, and they're two totally separate things, but they do work together in our industry. And so the acid gas removal system is going to allow us to increase our capacity to 150 tons a day, and at the same time, it's going to be reducing our pollution by a half of what it is now. So that's what's happening on that side. With the shredder and the material handler now will allow us to actually take in more waste so that we can go over our 100 tons a day. Now, we probably could go over 100 tons a day right now with the amount of waste that we're getting. We're very, very popular, but a lot of these waste streams are very bulky. They're large pallets or packaging boxes and stuff like that. So what this does is it opens the doors of opportunity for us so that we can accept all these large bulky wastes, and instead of getting to 120 tons a day, maybe get to that 130 tons a day without having to make major modifications to the actual process of the plant. Because right now that, the furnaces are only so big and they can only do so much. But if we change that fuel size just a little bit, we may be able to add another 5 tons a year, or 5 tons a day, excuse me, a day, or 10 tons a day, which at the end of the year is a huge amount.
Supervisor Turcott.
As a person that I'm down there weekly, construction debris, is space a concern to you running out down there?
We're growing fast, and I think that the intention with this is to save space at this point. I have other future ideas of maybe what we would do with the recycling center and kind of splitting those two departments up to allow a waste energy facility to have more, not only allow the waste energy facility to have more space, but also allow the recycling center to become more current, I guess, and updated. So I do have a space concern. We are full right now, and I think that this is just a small step in managing that concern.
Supervisor Gooselich.
So the size of this equipment, is there any concerns with the structure of the concrete you have on where it can and can't go down there?
No, all the concrete that we're currently running our equipment on is sufficient to run this equipment on. The neat thing about the shredder is you can get it in a number of different ways, but we're going to get it with on tracks. So it's literally remote control. A guy stands on the ground or in a piece of equipment and drives this shredder wherever he wants to go. It's also, it's roughly 26 tons, I think, something like that. So the county highway department would have the ability to transport this shredder if they wanted to take it to a house demolition, or if they're going to demolish a very, very large structure. Here, you guys go ahead and take it for the week, shred it up into one of our boxes and bring it to us. So it's very mobile.
Supervisor Heller.
With the addition of these two pieces of equipment, would it not possibly add to an advantageous position to be able to accept refuse that's going to burn better for you rather than take everything? So it might give you an opportunity to increase the better garbage.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the fully intent of this is after we have something like this, now we can pick and choose what's best for waste energy. Now we want to be able to take it all, obviously within our permit limits. But when it comes to things like, some things work well in a landfill. Concrete works well in a landfill. Anything that's non-combustible works well in a landfill. So we would be able to we'd be able to pick and choose what we want. We still want to take it all. We want to divert as much waste as we can from the landfill, but this just gives us an opportunity to better size that waste. So we cannot shred, and I want to be clear, we're not going to be shredding all of the waste that we receive. Our permit would restrict us from shredding all of the waste, but we would be able to shred a small portion of the waste. I'm not sure exactly if we can shred 50% or to only 20%. I know it's at least 20%, but we're going through an update right now with the DNR to update our plan of operations, and that'll determine there how much we can actually shred. Right now it's not limited, but we have to go through a plan update to change that. So yes, we are looking to do that, I guess.
Supervisor Patty Anderson.
Are you locked into the prices that you're showing for the two pieces of equipment for how long?
The shredder is sitting in the port in Baltimore right now, waiting for today, waiting for your approval. And so yes, that price is locked in. The price on can you go back to the very first screen, Jody, please? The price for the material handler of $476,500, that is a quoted price that is still current, I believe. We just had a meeting with them last week. We might be changing it. It might go down a little bit actually, because we're looking to change the length of the arms on the material handler, just so it's not so tall. That thing, we went and seen one at Amory Auto Salvage has 3 of these exact material handlers, and they are massive. The arms are way too long on them. We don't need that much of a reach. We want to bring it down to bring it shorter. So that price might change a little bit. Obviously, you can see that the math doesn't quite add up to 1.5 there. That's over 1.5 when you take those two together. The remaining balance we plan on paying with waste energy fund balance right now, which we have an ample amount, enough.
Supervisor Gores.
One of the things there is with that handler there, it's just not sitting on the machine just like that. It actually rises up, the cab and stuff, it rises up, I don't know, 15 feet or something like that?
Yeah, I believe it's probably 12 to 15 feet, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been to the auto salvage or the salvage yard there in Amory too, and we come and I've seen how they work. Yeah. He's up there pretty high and he can see everything. He rides with the cab, so.
Any further questions or discussion? If not, we're talking about authorizing, this resolution is authorizing to purchase these two pieces of equipment. Let's vote. Passed by a 2/3 vote, 28-0. Thank you, everybody. Item number 14. Now, this is a resolution, or excuse me, item number 14, authorizing the county clerk to sign a BCLP loan application request form, municipal general obligation loan for Barron County Waste to Energy in the amount of $1.5 million. This will just be a majority, and all we're doing is authorizing Jess, our clerk, to sign the application. If you approve that, she'll put the application in, and we'll get a resolution back from the state trust fund, and that'll be at the next board. If we pass, it'll be at the next board meeting, and that will require a 3/4 vote, 22 supervisors to pass. So you're not approving the loan right now. You're approving just to sign the application for the loan. And a motion by Supervisor Hanson, motion by Supervisor Rogers, second by Supervisor Bob Anderson. Supervisor Cook has a question.
So I see that it's a 10-year loan, 6%. Jeff, is that a locked-in 6, or are we able to negotiate as interest rates supposedly are to come down?
It's locked in, but we can negotiate. If the rates go down, we can refinance or we can prepay with notification.
Very good.
Can I just make another point too? I've ran this by Sean Lentz, our financial advisor, and he's also watching this, Supervisor Cook, because if the open market rates come down with the 4%, with the 4 million acid gas removal plus this, I would probably look at going out to the open market and getting away from the state trust fund. The only problem with that is you're going to get a substantially lower rate, but you're truly locked in then. You have to make those payments for 10 years.
Any further questions or concerns? If not, then we're voting again for Jess to sign the application. And next month, if it approves, we'll be talking about a resolution to actually borrow. So let's vote. Passed 28-0. Thank you. Item number 15, progress and financial update on the Barron County Highway Facilities Project. I believe, let's see, we had it in our packet, we had that information. As of July 8th, 2024, we had 972,000 plus of funds in cash, but we have budgeted costs yet to pay of 702,000. So that leaves us about $270,000 of room. That will have to include the data controls, out of that balance. And as far as we can tell, that's enough money there. The paving and things are done at the curbs and that at the highway, and I believe they came in a little under budget. We haven't seen the invoices yet. And then Lance is doing an excellent job with the IT out there, and I believe that's gonna come in a little less. So hopefully we're gonna, that 270 balance will be fine and we'll cover everything. Are there any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we're going, excuse me, item number 16, the ARPA funds. That really hasn't, that's as of July 11th. it really hasn't changed. We still have 1.2 plus amount available. At one time, we were talking about software for Health and Human Services and the UW ECBC project. Jeff's working on that, Jeff and Jody with our financial people, and you know, all this coming together, maybe acid gas removal, our equipment here, we may be talking about combining that and replenishing our fund balance for things that we've been hit the fund balance on. So is there any questions on the ARPA funds? Okay, thank you. Item number 17, report from our county administrator.
Yep, just quickly, I just included the economic profile that was updated by West Central Regional Planning Commission, included that with your packet. There are potential repairs to the Rice Lake Dam, to the roller gate, that will come before the county board, probably not till September now or October. These are not an emergency, they're just a necessary repair that Tyler would like to get in the queue before we get into the 2025 budget to get stuff ordered and perhaps get everything fixed before freeze up. Makes a lot of sense. It's not an emergency, it's just a necessity. We will be, the next, on August 19th at 5 p.m., we'll meet at the UW. Typically meet on the north entrance there at Meggers Hall. We'll start there and go forward. And then in September, we will meet out at the Waste Energy Plant at 5 o'clock and have a tour there. For my appointments, Mike Russell to the ADRC board, appoint Nancy Keeler to the Health and Human Services board, and appoint Supervisor Rogers as the Land Information Council rep from the county board.
Can we do all three at once, Jess? Okay, we can do all three appointments that he has there, 18A, B, and C. Motion by Supervisor Cook, second by Supervisor Banks. Is there any concerns with any of those appointments? If not, in favor, let's vote to appoint all three of those people. Thank you. That passed 28-0. Thank you. Item number 19, claims and petitions and correspondence. We don't have any. Good. Item number 20, suggestions for future agenda items. You had a list of them there in the packet.
Yep.
The only one, I think, the last one, that Mark Leonard with the PSC bead grant. Right now, it says maybe. Right now, it's a no. You know, the only reason we'd bring them here is because PSC decides that if we had a dust up or a concern or something from another entity or that, if we had to clarify something, we'd have them come. But just to give a general discussion on it, we don't plan to. Let's see. Anything else? If not, by unanimous consent, we'll adjourn at 9:53. And then anybody that would like to do a tour of the Barron County Highway Facility, we'll head out there probably start about 10:15. And so the Highway Commissioner will be leading that